I'm Bjergsen. I heard you guys need a new mid laner.
It's we're filming a new Disney show about a 15-year-old retired pro gamer.
Bjergsen now.
Ooh, the Q dodge. Does he have the damage? Snoopy surely to pop right here. Now can Bjergsen get out? Oh!
I think stun card was pulled, but it's not going to be enough. There's a death mark down, but Makasa's in there as well. There's a flash, so Bjergsen goes around.
Bjergsen getting up behind Peke here. Does put a bunch of damage down, switches out, the charm misses. That's going to be Peke dead.
I've been with TSM for about 5 years now, since I was 17 years old and I'm now 22. So obviously I've gone through a lot of changes and matured a lot since then. When I first came here, I didn't really expect to win any championships off the bat or get MVPs. That wasn't really on my mind. It was mostly just about kind of earning my spot and earning my right on TSM and being able to fulfill Reggie's shoes, because obviously that was not an easy task to kind of come in and fill. So my main focus was just that, trying to do the best that I could, and then with that, hopefully the championships would follow. In 2016 and 2017, we ended up winning the championship in NA 3 times, but still just the Worlds performance colors the entire year. And since both Worlds we were not able to make it out of groups based on one game, one tiebreaker game, that kind of gives you the overall feeling that the year was not good enough, that we didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish, or not even close. So it kind of makes you not remember all those good times and those things that you did achieve, and just makes me think towards the future and wanting to do that, wanting to make it out of groups and wanting to make it further. The roster changes we made after 2017 were obviously really big and drastic, but it felt like we had had this roster for a year and a half, 2 years, and we were still losing due to a lot of the same reasons, a lot of the same bad habits that weren't being changed, just a lot of things that I think due to the success that we have within NA and within our own region, it was difficult for people to push themselves to improve on these things, and were only really exposed by the end of the year. But I think we all kind of felt like running back the same roster was too risky and too likely to have those same mistakes. The offseason leading into this year, I was actually really happy with. I wanted Sven Mithi and Mike Young. I felt like Mike Young had a lot of potential as a young player, and he was just a highly mechanical player, and he seemed to have a pretty decent mind for the game and be really open to improve and have a good growth mindset. But there's just a lot of reasons why it didn't work out. There's no specific one reason. I think that we didn't fit super well together with the Korean coaching staff, and then Mike was an extremely young player that still had a lot to learn. So Mithi was trying to really help him improve as a jungler and coach him, and I know it kind of put a lot of stress on Mithi because he was used to playing with such an experienced jungler and then had to play with pretty much a rookie and help him teach a lot of the basics of the jungle and how to think about the jungle role. And just overall, Spring Split was really getting to know each other, getting used to each other, and then obviously just the big bang, losing the clutch in playoffs, was really saddening for us. We initially made the jungle switch to Greg because he ended up playing a couple scrims, and just his communication in the early game and the way he was leading around his own role was very helpful to all the laners, because we didn't have to. With Mike, we had to talk a lot with him about what he's doing, what are you thinking right now, what plan do you want to make, but John was kind of doing that on his own, or Greg was doing that on his own, and he was a lot easier for us to play with and allowed us to focus more on our individual lanes. But then we also had a lot of coaching switch-ups. We went from Song to Lust drafting, to Parth drafting, to Parth and Song drafting. So I think the consistent coaching changes definitely hurt us quite a bit, because we weren't able to just settle in on one thing and just focus on this one system and improve within that one system. But I think the biggest reason why we didn't do well was just I didn't know my teammates very well, and I didn't know what they needed. I've taken a lot of time to reflect after and kind of realize what I should have done differently during the season, but the personalities in 2018 was very different from kind of what I had worked with in the past. And I don't think I did a very good job kind of managing my teammates and making sure we were heading down the right track. I went home this year and it's been 2 years since I last went home, so things are quite different. I pretty much just didn't do anything when I was home. I didn't play, I just kind of tried to stay as present with my family as possible and spend as much time with them as I could. Some of the other years I go home and I'm kind of streaming and playing and spending time with the family, but this time I just wanted to do kind of the most focus on family I could possibly be and then focus on my work once I got back here to LA. So it was really nice and a good kind of recharge for the season. I think this year of having some breaks is really good for me because all the other years we always go really far in the international tournaments in terms of the group stage and we're always losing by just one game, one tiebreaker or one game to end up the group stage. So it's always been a little hard for me to figure out exactly what I needed to improve on or at least take away into the next split to make it better and to make that big of a difference. But just failing as badly as I did and as we did this year, it's really forced me to reflect, to talk to everyone on the team about what they think was going on, to talk to players from other teams, to study traditional sports and how they work in their team environments. And I think it just kind of forced me to think much more about how I have been working within the team and leading the team and making the necessary changes for 2019. Being kind of the pillar of TSM and having my teammates come and go, I think now this is pretty much the second roster that is being rebuilt around me. Obviously there's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility, but it's responsibility that I want because I am asking for some of these changes because I feel like they're necessary to success or to take TSM to the next level in terms of our results and our performance. We have a new coaching staff coming in. We have 2 completely new players coming in that we need to adjust to. I feel like TSM has traditionally started pretty slow in the last few years in spring split and taken just too long to play well together as a team and adjust to each other as a team. So that'll be a big focus of mine and Zigslaw, the head coach, to make sure that we're not taking such a long adaptation process because I do think this team has a lot of potential to do really well. And especially the addition of Smoothie, I think will help me very much because he's just one of the most vocal players I probably ever played with. So I'm looking forward to that. The goal is winning Worlds, winning MSI, winning these tournaments that I've always kind of fell short in. I enjoy basing my whole life around competition and performance and improving and being within this team. And when I play well and when I have a great game and we win and the team atmosphere is great, or when I see my teammates succeeding and I know that I was a part in helping them succeed, that's one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done, I think. So I'm going to keep doing this as long as I feel I can be the best.